So this is going to be Rose Red and Snow White, and they meet up with a bear in the woods, and it's a whole classic fairy tale around it. And I'm going to stop talking and just start drawing. I sketched it out ahead of time, and this is actually from an old painting that I did years ago and sold it and lost the original file because it happened to be a digital like this one is. And so now I'm recreating it. Excuse me. I just looked at the comments. Thank you. I'm seeing so many people saying hello. I have a ways to go. This is going to take a while. Thanks for hanging around. If you're just wanting a quiet evening watching somebody work, that's what I'm going to be doing. And I would love it if you would subscribe. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers, and it's taking a while to get there, but I'm over halfway there. So I would love it if I saw when I got done tonight that I had a bunch more subscribers. That would be so cool. Okay, back to work. Okay, so this is, in case you missed it in the comments, it's Rose Red and Snow White, and they are going to be reimagined in today's kind of fashion and style. I'm actually going to take from some tribal garb that I got familiar with that's kind of started in San Francisco years ago. Anyway, you'll see it eventually. Yeah, I love the back button. You can't do that with real watercolor, which I also do, but not today. That's going to get a lot lighter by the time I'm done. But I have to start somewhere. So I'm putting a wash on everything just to get it done. And then I'm going to use more detailed stuff soon. More detailed marks. So hopefully that's somewhat close. So the reason that I decided to take an old fairy tale and reimagine it is, and you notice here, I saw someone said lay pause, and there was, and so these two, Rose Red and Snow White, are super loyal to each other. They're like sisters forever. What they share everything. They're extremely loyal. Anyway, they get caught up with this bear because they just hang out in the woods all the time, and they're very comfortable with all the animals and the critters. And so this bear shows up and he bonds with them. And so to reimagine this tale, of course, then there's a whole thing. There's a troll, and there's, you know, the bear's actually a prince, and then he has a brother, and it works out great for the two girls. But so that's like the classic fairy tale is like to have you know, the female characters find a prince and get married and they live happily ever after. And what I wanted to focus on instead was this bond that they have with a bear when the prince is actually a bear. And they do have this strong bond with each other, but the bear is part of it too. And then eventually you'll see I'm going to draw tattoos on them, and it's going to say things like you know, rights of nature, and things that have to do with more with animals, because I love animals. Okay, back to drawing. Let's find a nice light brown to start out with for the bear. He's going to be dark there, so just cover it all. It really loves that brown. I wonder if I can. It's going to miss it. I'll connect those two later. I think the computer knows when you get next to a color that's the same color, and it's like, oh, you want it to blend, because it blends a little bit when you put it next to, like, if I go see how it blended a tiny bit there, but when I touched that one, it just like spread. just going to go a little bit lighter. How do I want, oh, and add more water. Yeah, makes it, does that work? Maybe it didn't work. Ooh, we had a little bit of bleed there too. I am going to less water, a little bit thinner around the edge here so I can get by there. Remember to stay in the frame. Oh, it always bleeds. Make it more brown than red. It's okay. So the first time I did this, I was invited to be in a show in Alaska, and I had lived up in Alaska for a long time and therefore loved the idea of painting a bear. I saw plenty of them when I was living up there. And so my friend, who is also an artist and a scientist, asked me to participate in this professional show. So I never went to the professional show, but I basically drew this very, very similar drawing to what I'm doing here in the computer, and then decided that that's what I wanted to enter in the show. And so I had it printed down at my local printer on a canvas, and it turned out great. It was the first time I'd ever done that, and it really turned out great. I was really, really tickled. And so it went up to Alaska. I shipped it up there, and it went in the show, and it sold to a medical professional person. I'm not sure exactly. I don't remember what their profession was exactly. I just remember it was in the medical field, and they were from Germany. They were visiting, and they ended up with. So they have the only image that I ever did, because it wasn't long after that that I basically lost my file. So I'm recreating it. And these girls don't look exactly like the other ones, but they're similar. So there's definitely a one-of-a-kind rose red and snow white out there. Let's get that nice and brown. I'm going to cover all this with an oil brush, but for now I just am blocking in the colors. What I want to do here, I think we're going to make that silver. It's okay, I'll fix it later. Okay. I think what I'm going to do is So I'm going to start detailing out. I'm going to switch out of the watercolor and we're going to go to oil. So it's picking up the watercolor underneath it. It's just picking up that color, even though normally oils and waters wouldn't mix together. But in this case, because it's a computer, it picks up whatever's underneath it. So now we've got a lot of that pink right in there, which is okay with me. I'm going to go back and smooth all this in a minute. Oops, I don't think I like that color there. I don't want to drag that. Stay kind of light right there. This is where I can go back and kind of fix a couple things. I think I want to go just a little bit darker here and smaller. right tool here. It's a, no. Just going to smooth this out a little bit here and there where it's looking really kind of. Can you see my screen is cracked? I need to get a new iPad, but this one's still working, so no reason to throw it away. Everything is up to date. It just, I cracked the screen. It was a bad day that day when I cracked the screen. I felt pretty bad that I did that. This looks like it needs a little blending in here. I have to tell you, I get a little bit spoiled working on a computer, but I go back and forth. Like earlier today, I did a live and I did all markers and colored pencils, and it was, it definitely couldn't get the precision because you can't go zooming in like that and fix things quite the same, but it was still good. It was good. I enjoyed it. Okay, gotta make sure I get the right color here. Go back to my brush. She's got muscles, evidently. A little more than I planned, but that's okay. Nice and strong girl. There we got one of the hands in there. I'm going to work on this face before I move on to the other girl. Okay, I definitely don't like how I did that nose. Gotta get rid of it. This is the fun part of live, right? I'm going to turn on my, I'm going to switch to a different kind of brush. Oopsie. So I'm going to go add a layer. Okay, that's starting to look right. These gray lines, my underpainting, eventually is going to go away. So it's kind of hard to imagine that. I'll go over and get, go back. Okay, that's now merged. Let's go get a pink. And get the brush that I like. Okay. Okay, so I have another layer that I'm hiding from you because I pre-drew a lot of this stuff so that I wouldn't have to stop and figure stuff out the way I had to figure out on that nose, because it kind of keeps the drawing, it slows it down. Whoops. Unlock. Unlock. That's it. So I'm going to move that one all the way up here on top. Where'd it go? There we go. So this is what eventually I'm going to have, our roses around the side, and I'm going to have a headdress on them, and then I was just turning it on so that I can figure out where the clothing is, because I've got my paint all washing together right there, and I have to kind of clean all that up. So that's what I'm working on. So I think for tonight I'm going to finish the blue and then call it a night. Uh-oh. Yeah, I'm on the right. Am I on the right one? Seems like it's covering it up. Better go backwards. Is it still there? I think it is. There it is. Let's do her hair. I'm going to go really light with her hair. I'm also going to turn off because it's a little distracting, and I'm going to lock it. I don't want to accidentally get rid of that layer. It's a really important layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just, this isn't going to look much like hair yet. I just have to, I would need to lighten up that yellow that I had there. So just because this is like blending a little more than I want, I'm going to add a layer, and I'm going to have it go really nice and white here to make a difference between the skin. Can I get it any whiter? White. Okay. Ooh, yeah. So I will merge this layer down and do another layer with even whiter, because it's pure. This layer doesn't have This is all going to be kind of covered up with flowers and stuff, so I'll probably do a little bit of blending here. Let's find the darkest there. I'm like, is that ear too low? But if you were wearing glasses, it would go straight back and sit on top of your ear. So I always second guess myself. That's okay. The ear is okay. Not sure I like that. Go to white here. Take the blending brush, really small. Just want to move that ear up a tiny bit. What's kind of cool is that I can actually do that. None of my flowers are going to fit later though. Maybe we'll let it be. Okay, thank you everybody. I'll pick this up later. Bye-bye.